Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? How we doing? How we doing? How we feeling? How we looking? How we smelling? You know what I'm saying? Feeling good, looking good, smelling good. Yo, it's your boy, the talented Brandon J. I'm back here with another episode of the Everyday Shuffle. Yo, today's broadcast is brought to you by nobody at all. So brands, get at me. Discount Dance, get at me. Capizio, get at me. Adidas, get at me. You know what it is, man. Oh, man, how y'all doing out there today, man? How y'all feeling? How you feeling? Hope everybody's feeling good. Had a good week. Yo, what do we got on the board today? What are we doing? Yo, a lot has happened. A lot has happened since the last time we talked. So what do we have? Let's talk music. Let's talk music, man. Yo, that Miguel album. I want to talk about this Miguel album really quick. Some new music has dropped. And I think the last time we talked, I talked about the Miguel album dropping. But I think that I've heard some other reviews about this album since we've spoke, and I just wanted to come back because I heard people say they weren't feeling the Miguel album, and I'm like, yo, I rock with it. Like, I rock with this album. Like, I think it's completely dope. Makes me feel like I want to be makes me feel like I'm on in a nice one of those small intimate venues, just live music on stage and just vibing, with a cocktail in your hand, and it's very artsy, you know what I'm saying? So I dig it, man. I dig it a lot. I don't know what other people talking about. I've heard some other podcasts review the album, and I don't know, man. You guys listen to it for yourselves if you haven't already, but I dig it a lot, and I think I'm hearing it from a dancer's ear. And I thought about that too, because when I was listening and watching other podcasts talk about it, these people are either, just your regular people listening to it, or, and not to say that anybody's wrong in their opinion, you know what I mean? I just find it interesting. But these people are either, the people that I'm watching review this are ex-rappers, you know what I mean? They're in the industry, either a rapper, producer, engineer, or just your regular average Joe. But I learned when I'm listening to other people review albums that the dancer's ear is very much different from the normal person's ear, and even more so the rapper or the engineer's ear. But then at the same time, even as I'm saying this now, man, people have their preference, and maybe people just like to hear Miguel do a certain thing and in a certain way, and don't want to, but he's definitely in his like artsy bag with this one, and I dig it, man. I dig it. If you haven't heard the Miguel album, give it a listen. I rock with it heavily, so it's dope. Super dope. Yo, let me tell you something. Also, that the Leon Thomas that just dropped, yo, this generation, I'm gonna say for the past, at least 5 to 7 years, I have not really rocked with this generation's R&B. Like, R&B has been not the same for a long time. As a collective, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of R&B artists that just sound the same to me. Not that they sound bad, they just sound the same. And I guess the same can be said for a lot of hip hop too. But there's a lot of R&B, man, that I just wasn't rocking with. But this Leon Thomas that just dropped, This Leon Thomas that just dropped, boy, got me in the headlock. Like, this generation, y'all got y'all one with Leon Thomas. Y'all got y'all one with him. That young brother is the truth. If you haven't heard that new Leon Thomas, please check it out. My man is in his R&B bag. Like, it's crazy dope. Like, I've been listening to it almost every day, and there's certain songs that I'm like pretty much playing every day. You know what I'm saying? Just to get the vibe right in my class before class starts. So I keep, always before my students walk in, I'm playing music to get the vibe right. So yeah, you know what I mean? That Leon Thomas is fire to me, man. So if y'all haven't heard that one, please go check that out. That joint there is fire. And this generation, y'all got y'all one with him. You got your one. Who else, man? Who else dropped this week? Westside has had a surprise drop from Westside Gunn. I've mentioned Westside Gunn before on the new music segment, and I like it too. I dig it too. Like, I think I first got introduced to Westside Gunn on the Royce da 5'9" album a couple years back. Is when I first got hip to him. And I'm pretty sure even at that time, because that album came out, I think that album came out 2019 or 2020. And you know what I mean? I even think I was late to the party even then getting put up on Westside Gunn. So, but I really like his albums, man. So he dropped a surprise album, The Hills Have Eyes, Part 2. Yeah, I think it's The Hills Have Eyes Part 2 or Part 3. But it's a dope album. I like it. Easy listens. I just like albums with easy listens. So check out Westside Gunn. Just dropped another album last week or earlier this week, depending on when you guys get. Actually, no, yeah, it'll be last week by the time you guys get this broadcast. So yeah, Westside Gunn dropped. What else, man? Who else we got? Who else we got? A lot has happened. Since we last talked. The Dodgers won the World Series. That happened. Go Dodgers. Let's go. Verzuz has happened with No Limit and Cash Money. I thought it was fire. I thought it was dope. I enjoyed it, and it took me down memory lane for sure. And I've learned something. Hold on, I don't. And let me make sure. I don't even know if I want to. Do I want to get into this right now? Yeah, I can get into this right now because I don't have a lot. That on the board. So Verzuz came out. And I say this to you guys because I'm learning. I shared this story in my class. So I'm assuming that it's probably going to be the same for this channel. That my students had no idea what Verzuz is. No clue. So I'm telling them, so I asked them, like, hey, did anybody catch the Verzuz this past last weekend with No Limit and Cash Money? And they all just stared at me. They were like, what are you talking about? So I then asked them, do y'all know what Verzuz is? And they had no clue. They didn't know. And as I'm saying this, because a lot of the people that follow this channel are also of the same age range, y'all are probably looking at me right now like, Brandon, what are you talking about? What is a Verzuz? You told your class. Why don't you tell us? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. So, Verzuz, for those who don't know, was started during the pandemic, right? to get two established artists, because we were shut in and couldn't go anywhere, and artists still wanted to like, and there was no shows, there was no concerts, and we just weren't able to go anywhere or do anything. Artists still wanted to be able to, feel like they can still give shows and showcase and just share their art. So the two brothers, Swiss Beats and Timberland. Now in my class, I went on through a whole thing who Swiss Beats and Timberland is. For here, you guys just research it. If you don't know who Swiss Beats is, look them up, man. Mega producer with the Rough Riders and produced for many people. Timberland, same game, mega producer, and artist. So if you don't know who they are, look them up. So Timberland and Swiss Beats come together and say, yo, let's just create this thing called Verzuz. And on Instagram, they do an Instagram live. They get these two artists, these two already established artists, and say, yo, let's just do like a versus battle, but also just like a celebration, right? So it's like it's a battle, but it's really just a celebration and a sharing of the art and the music, with both each other from artist to artist and with the rest of the world, via Instagram live. And they did it, and it was like huge, and I think like at the time it broke the internet and Instagram, and it was just a huge success, right? Because everybody was tuning in to the Verzuz. So they kept this thing going, and they just kept picking two established artists and putting them together to do a Verzuz. And it went on to just being, and it was first started with hip hop artists, but then went on to like just our favorite artists. So people like, the most notorious and classic Verzuz battle was Dipset and the Lox, right? But by that time, we were wide open, and they were able to come to the stage and do that one as a concert. But during the pandemic, you also had your favorite artists like Jill Scott and Erykah Badu did a Verzuz. Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight did a Verzuz. And then like at the end of that one, Dionne Warwick came out and participated, so they shared with that. So it's a list. It's a list. So, and if you want to watch a Verzuz, for those who don't know what Verzuz is, you can just go on YouTube, type it in. I believe you type it in Verzuz, Verzuz, right? And a list of them will pop up, right? So that's Verzuz, and that happened in 2020 during the pandemic, and has been going ever since. But I was very surprised that there's now a whole generation of young people who have no clue. As huge as we know, those who know, we know it to be, as huge as it is for us, there's a whole generation in circulation right now that have no idea, that don't even know how to tap into this, and that I think would thoroughly enjoy it. That's why I love my job, man, because I'm like putting a bunch of young people up on game with like what's what. So there's that. So that's Verzuz for those who don't know. Now, just last week, we had the classic No Limit and Cash Money Verzuz. Now, I'm still explaining this to my class. So then I say to them, do you guys know who No Limit and Cash Money is? Obviously, they don't. Like, they don't know who they are by name, but I tell them to explain who Cash Money is. I start singing, all right, do y'all know the song, Girl, You Look Good, Won't You Back That Ass Up? You's a fine mother, won't you back? And then they're like, oh, yeah, I like that one. I know that one. Cash Money. That's a product of Cash Money. Cash Money birthed and gave us Lil Wayne. So there's like they know, but they don't know. So Cash Money is the origins, right? And then the same thing for No Limit. So I then put them up on game on who Cash Money and No Limit is. So now I get through all of that, the explanation part of the story. Now we're caught up. I then explained to them what I saw. Now, here's what I saw as a child of hip hop and hip hop culture, and a child that was raised in the 1900s and knows what hip hop felt like in the 90s and early 2000s. So I'm watching the Verzuz with No Limit and Cash Money, and I assume, because I'm even watching it late, I didn't even watch it when it first aired. I watched it later, maybe almost a week later. So I purposely didn't listen to any reviews on it because I wanted to watch it for myself first. So I'm watching it, and as I'm watching it, I'm thinking that this thing is taking place in New Orleans. I learned after I watched it, like right after I watched it, that it wasn't in New Orleans at all. It was in Vegas. Cool. And how dope would that have been if it was in New Orleans? Shout out to New Orleans. So I watch it, and it started once I learned that it was in Vegas and not New Orleans. It kind of made sense from what I observed. So every now and then the camera pans out to the audience. Here's what I'm watching. Here's what I see. The camera pans out to the audience, and in the audience, I'm seeing a lot of young people. I'm like, yo, there's a lot of young people at this particular Verzuz, which I thought was dope. But then I'm also watching these young people, the interaction of these young people. And most of them are just like standing there, looking, just watching. A lot of this. You know what I mean? Because that's just what we are today. Like, we have to watch everything through the lens of our phones and not just take in the moment. So I see a lot of that, and the cameras pan around every time the camera pan to the audience, and this cluster of people, or every cluster of people, it was like one person just, you know what I mean, in the moment, backing that thing up, and just like really just vibing and just into it, right? But everybody else was just standing there just stoically, right? So I keep watching this, and I keep seeing this, and I'm like, and now, meanwhile, I'm watching this in my living room with my 1-year-old, and we're in front of the TV wilding. Every time a song came on, we just up. She just hears music and go. She into it. She doing her thing. So, because in my eyes and in my opinion, good music is good music. It doesn't matter how old it is, how new it is. Good music is good music, right? So I'm watching the camera pan to the audience, and I'm seeing this. I noticed this because this is just occupational habit. These are just things I notice all the time. So I'm noticing that it's a packed crowd, but the energy just wasn't there. And I can tell what I was seeing was accurate, because there were moments when the artist on stage was trying to pull that out of the audience and it just wasn't happening, right? And that's just where we are today. And there's been several situations where artists have been in concert and doing that. I believe a couple months ago, man, there was a whole thing with Method Man going off on the audience because they just wasn't giving energy. And people were saying, "Oh, don't nobody know who Method Man is." I don't think it's that at all, bro. I think that this generation just doesn't know concert etiquette or hip hop etiquette. So I shared this with my students, and my students are all like, "Yep, that checks. That makes sense. That's how it is." When they go to their when they're at the function, they're seeing a lot of the same thing. And as I'm talking to them and telling them this, like, they're very aware that it's the devices, and they're very aware that and that, you know, the pandemic and what we went through in 2020 has a lot to do with social anxiety and putting yourself out there. I mean, I'm talking to them, and I mean, they're really explaining it to me, and I told them, I'm like, man, you guys seem very self-aware of this thing happening. So if we are that self-aware, how do we change it? Or what was the thing I said? I think I mentioned to them, I say, you guys in here seem very self-aware. And knowing that, if you're that aware of it, do you fight against that? Or do you just lean into, hey, this is just what it is. Nobody else is moving. That was the thing that they said. I hear a lot. Nobody else is moving and engaging and giving energy and using that hip hop etiquette or that concert etiquette. So if nobody else is doing it, nobody else is turning up, so I'm not going to turn up at this place, in this space where we should be turning up. That happened a lot. No one else is doing it, so I won't do it. So it's this whole social anxiety and fear of being put on camera for acting a way that is appropriate for the setting that you're in. It's a different time that we're in, man. And that was the thing I noticed the most about the No Limit and Cash Money Verzuz. Now, far as the Verzuz itself went, I loved it. I think Cash Money smoked it on the song for song situation. I forgot how many like radio hits Cash Money had. Cash Money had a lot of radio hits. No Limit had a lot of underground hits, not a lot of radio hits. Nonetheless, they were all smashes with No Limit. But I forgot how many hits like Cash Money really had on the radio, and actually had videos to these hits. So yeah, song for song, I think Cash Money smoked it. Now, No Limit appearance, No Limit smoked it. They was in they fatigues, you know what I mean? In all custom design to each artist. They looked fire. They looked fire. And shout out to Master P, man. I forgot how many songs Master P was rapping lead on. He's the leader and the founder of No Limit. But I forgot how many of them songs Master P was actually like rapping on. Not like unlike Baby, who's the, you know what I'm saying, who's the founder of Cash Money, Baby was rapping on a few songs, but most of the hits wasn't Baby's songs. But yeah, the Verzuz was dope. I enjoyed it. I really did. I enjoyed it a lot. It was fire. But I did notice that, like, the social engagement. So as I noticed that, right, and here I go. I'm in my let me look at my notes real quick. I'm in my education bag, you know what I mean? Like, I'm always thinking about, like, how can I bring this to the classroom and talk about it in a way. So then it brought up another question for me. Because, you know me, I tell you, every week I have a question for my students. So I see that lack of the engagement with at the Verzuz, and then the question pops up to me to ask my class. And here's the question. And you can ask yourselves this. Do you, and I'm looking at it to make sure I ask it. Okay. Do you engage in hip hop social practices daily and or weekly? Do you engage in hip hop social practices daily and or weekly? I then asked my students that. So after I witnessed what I saw, and I didn't just witness that at the Verzuz. Like, when I'm at concerts or I work concerts and raves, like, just the concert etiquette is pretty much the same. A lot of people standing there, a lot of people with their phones watching the stage through the lens of their phones. So then that's how I came up with the question. Do you engage in hip hop social practices daily and or weekly? That question, they had to stop and think about it. My students. And for the most part, I don't want to say for the most part. After further breaking it down in the classroom, what would be a hip hop social practice? But I did have a few of them that says, yeah, I do that on a daily basis or a weekly basis. I told them, I say, everybody in here definitely engage in hip hop social practices on a weekly basis. Everybody in this class, I told them that. All of you in here, on a weekly basis, engage in hip hop social practices. And some of them were looking like, what do you mean? Like, I do? Wait, do I? And they're like really thinking back. And I say, if you're in this class that meets weekly, you're engaging in hip hop social practices. Being a part of my class is a hip hop social practice. Other examples of a hip hop social practice would be at a concert, at a hip hop concert. The mere fact that you're at the concert is engaging in that practice. Vibing, allowing yourself to be in the moment and vibing at the concert is a part of a social practice. The way you greet one another, just the way you dap up, is a part of a hip hop social practice. Engaging in conversation of hip hop nature is a part of hip hop social practices. Even just the vernacular that you use within the conversation is a part of a hip hop social practice. The way the music that you listen to, you know what I mean? If you getting ready to go out or just driving in the car, the music that you listen to, if most of the music you listen to is hip hop, then you're engaging in hip hop social practices. So I had a few students that was like, oh yeah, and they could pinpoint how they do it. Other students, not so much. And then after we broke it down, they were like, okay, yeah, I understand. I get it. And what I saw at the concert or at the Verzuz, I saw a huge lack of a hip hop social practice. And I just found that interesting, right? And it was just a conversation piece. It was something that I saw, came up with the question and thought to bring it into class to maybe spark conversation about it. So there you go. I feed it to you guys. How often do you engage in hip hop social practices? Weekly, daily? You think about it for yourself. But I think we need to be more mindful of that. And I think the conversation got even deeper as we were talking about it, which I loved. I want to start recording some of these conversations that I have with my students because I think they're very dope. And I like the direction that it goes. It gets us to open up. And really when I'm having these type of conversations with them, especially on this particular topic, it's just teaching them like, yo, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to engage. It's okay to engage with one another. It's okay to allow yourself to be in the moment and be free and do you. You know what I mean? Especially if we're at a place where it's appropriate to act and do as such. Like at a concert, turn up. Turn up at the concert. If the concert's dope, now if it's whack, then I get it. I'm with you. But if the concert is dope, turn up. I think I mentioned in another episode when the school year first started back, I took my 19-year-old daughter to a concert, the Roots Picnic. Wu-Tang, Method Man, Lil Kim, E40, Too Short, who else, man? I mean, it was a bunch of people there, and I'm there with my whole family, and we out here, we at the Hollywood Bowl, and I'm turning up, man. I'm in the aisles with my baby in my arm, and we, you know what I mean? And before I know it, early in the show, lady walks up to me and was just like, yo, y'all want box seats? Now, we had the Hollywood Bowl all the way up in the rafters. This lady came all the way up to where we were and was like, yo, and said to me, hey, do you want box seats? I was like, first I looked at her a little confused. And, white lady come up to you and just offer you free stuff. I had to step back. I had to step back and look at her like, hold on. I look up and down to check to see if she had any badges or anything. I had to make sure and she showed me her credentials. She was like, no, it's okay. I work here. I said, yeah, we would love some box seats down by the stage. She's like, I just like you guys' vibe. I like your energy. Let me help you with your stuff. I got a box seat for you. And took us all the way down to the box seat. Out of everybody that was in our area, she came and grabbed us. She said, because I love your energy. Just be, y'all. Just be. Now, the reason I'm telling that story is also because I had my 19-year-old daughter with me. And the whole time I'm turning up, my daughter is one of those young people that was at the Verzuz. She was just chilling. No bop. No excitement. Now her pops is here with it. You know what I mean? Singing along, vibing with the people around him. You know what I mean? Connecting with, the verse that everybody know. You vibing with them like y'all longtime friends. She's just standing there watching stoically. Now, to her, she had a good time though. I'm like, yo, baby girl, did you enjoy that? Like, that was dope, right? We came down to the box seats, got the free box seats, the upgrade. We right here amongst the celebrities. She was like, oh yeah, this is cool. Just like that. Oh yeah, this is real. Yeah, this is cool. And I do believe she had a really good time because she went and she told her mom about it when we got back and was telling her friends about it. But that's just how they express. And talking to my students, I learn more. You know, it's the whole social anxiety, all of that. So I'm just here to say, hey, man, it's okay, y'all. If you're listening to me out there, it's okay. When you at the function, it's okay to conduct yourself as if you're at the function, not waiting in line at Starbucks. You know what I mean? Yo, turn up, y'all. It's okay. And I'm also learning, man, that, you know, having these conversations in my classroom, I told them, I also asked them, like, the question of, like, when the last time anybody in this class, I say, when the last time someone asked you to dance? Like, you at the function and somebody asked you to dance. And usually someone asks you to dance, like back in my day, well, not even then, to be honest with you, not even just on the slow dance. It was more popular like on the slow dances, which nobody does anymore. Nobody slow dances anymore. Nobody even plays slow music anymore. The slow jam, we called them the slow jams. You know what I mean? It was a whole category of that of slow music, and it was called slow jams. Nobody do the slow jams anymore. You know what I'm saying? That was the one where you waited all night for the slow jams, and you knew who you was gonna ask to dance. You knew the dance was coming up. If you was in school, you had them school dances. Or you went to the party, the house party that was happening, and you know, hey, Keisha, you going to the party? And Keisha be like, yeah, I'll go out to the party. You going to the party? I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. She like, all right, I'll see you there. And you've been waiting all week to ask Keisha to dance at the house party, and you knew what slow jam you wanted to do. You know, you wanted them to play. As soon as they played your slow jam, that was your moment. And you went over to Keisha. You're like, Keisha, want to dance? And Keisha like, yeah, we can dance. And that was the moment. They don't do that no more. They've taken away slow jams, y'all, at the function. So, I asked my students, have you ever asked anyone to dance? 2, 3 hands popped up. I say, have you asked anyone to dance that you didn't know? 1 hand went up. I asked, have you ever been asked to dance? Anybody in the room? 2, 3 hands went up. Have you been asked by someone you don't know? 1, 2 hands. This is where we are, y'all. This is where we are. So in my class, I try to make it known. I'm teaching. I told them I can always just come in here and just teach a regular dance class. I can just come in, say, repeat what I do, teach a normal structured, me in the front, repeat these steps, and then send you on about your way. Once I started noticing this happening in society, I had to change the way I started teaching. Because I love the culture of hip hop, and I love the culture of dance and social dance. And hip hop is a social dance form. I then started adjusting how I approached the classroom. I also was noticing after the pandemic, when we first got back into school, how distant everyone was, even in the classroom. Even in the classroom. When we first came back to in the classroom, I thought it was going to be like a stampede. Everybody was going to be ready to finally be back in the classroom. It was not that. It was the complete opposite. It was the complete opposite. People didn't know how to act, how to be once we got back together. It's much better now. In my class, it's much better now because I made it my mission. There was no way that I could teach in an environment like that, being who I am. So I made it my mission to say, no, we can't have this. I had to start figuring out ways to make it okay for this to happen, for it to get back to the way it needs to be. Excuse me. So I changed my approach because I teach a social dance form. So I stopped solely focusing on the dance of that social dance form and started paying more attention to the social of that social dance form. So I started I just started approaching the classroom differently and having more conversations and engaging, figuring out ways to have my students really engage with one another in a way that would be infectious enough that once they left the classroom, they also took that energy out into the world so that they didn't stay in that social anxiety. So now I have a new crop. I did whoever those freshmen were when we came back are now gone, and I'm now with a new crop who still may have some of that anxiety with them. So I just told my students, like, I had to change the way I started teaching. I was just explaining that to them. And, yo, man, I'm just trying to change the world one hip-hop class at a time. You dig? That's just where I am with it. I love this culture too much. I love dance and performance culture too much to I love hip-hop too much to just let it be, because I'm old enough to know what it was like before social media and cell phones and the posting. Like, I know what it was like before all of that, and I'm able to see what it's like now. It's not good, y'all. It's not good. It's going to a place where now, if you don't know what it was like, we now have a generation of young people who only know social media culture, who only know the cell phone, smartphone culture. And now we're entering a generation of people who are still even heavily affected by the pandemic, which was just 5 years ago. So, in my opinion, the responsibility in the classroom has changed. I teach and it's going to be up to the arts to um, help reusher that old feeling and thought process back into our young people. It's easier for us who in the arts. It's easier for a dance class, for a music class, a theater class, to do things like that, which is why the arts is so important. They keep trying to take it away out of the classrooms, and it's just important for society. So, yeah, man, I'm just trying to change the world one hip hop class at a time. And even today, man, I implemented something into my class today, freestyling, because I don't see them until I teach it. I teach the class twice a week, Tuesday, Thursday. I don't see them. They got next Tuesday off for Veterans Day. I don't see them until next Thursday. So it's going to be a long period of time. And usually what I do is I teach. I spend a whole week on one particular combination, and then the next week I move on to another one. So this week I wasn't able to teach a combination. So yeah, I just knew it was going to be a long time. So I just wanted to teach a one and done class type of class. I mean, something that they didn't have to hold on to, retain for a couple of days, for almost a week, and then remember it the next time I see them. So just kind of wanted to do a one and done. So I was freestyling today, and I did something today, man, that turned out to be super dope. It was a way for them to engage. Like, I taught a movement and then had them vibe with one another and then do that movement facing each other. And it was about vibes. It was about the groove. So it's just it was just them doing real simple movements in a groove, but it would be things that you could actually use and do if you were at the function dancing with someone. It turned out, I mean, they really, really, really enjoyed that, man. So it turned out to be a really cool situation. I'm going to keep that. That was just off the top of the dome. Yo, I be smoking this teaching shit, man. I ain't even going to lie to kick it. When it comes to this teaching joint, man, I be smoking it. Yo, I'm fire at this. I really am. Yeah, it was dope. So I even freestyled that today off the top of the dome, and it was fire. So I was actually very proud of myself and very proud of the students, because they really, and it was so successful because we've been having conversations. I come in, and every week I have a question. I ask these questions, we engage, we talk to one another, and then we go into the dance. And so it was I was able to see all the conversations and all the stories and lectures, if you will, that I preached to them, and I can tell that they retain and take in, and then we were able to put all of that into a practice today, which was just dope. It was really dope. Yo, what else do I have on the board? So that was the question. So just to recap all of that, to sum all of that up, the question, I'll repeat the question for you guys again. Do you engage in hip hop social practices daily and or weekly? Something to think about, and something to then start putting into practice, into your daily, weekly practice, for all my hip hop heads out there. So there you go. Yo, I wanted to do I think this one would be good for a special sauce segment. In the special sauce segment, it's just me dropping what I would think to be like some helpful tips, some jewels, if you will, for young dancers to succeed. in the sense of, especially my young dancers, in the on the college level, who's like majoring in dance and probably get discouraged. I did a whole, remember the episode I did where we talked about people discouraging young dancers' dreams, and passion. So I have a 76-year-old mother who does physical therapy. You know, she has to do physical therapy. She's had quite a few surgeries, quite a few falls, and just isn't the most. She's not a youthful 76. So, you know, it's a bit difficult to do a few everyday tasks. So we have her doing, like, I want her to do physical therapy. It started out because she had a fall and fractured her pelvis like a year ago. But now I just want her to do it because it's just exercise. It's just a good way for her to get exercise in. So we have her doing in-home physical therapy, where a physical therapist comes to the house and does these sessions with her, right? And before she started doing this, I wasn't aware of this particular profession. Yo, there are a lot of professions out there that we're just not aware of and don't get promoted. It doesn't get promoted a lot. And because of that, it's in high demand. It's in high demand. And I would assume that there are a lot of, I can assume this, a lot of people, a lot of dancers out there and artists who probably think like me. So, and it's just a physical therapist assistant. So what happens is the actual physical therapist come out and does the assessment of the patient. And then there's a nurse that will come in and check in and ask questions, do vitals, and just check in and check up on the patient. And then you have the physical therapist assistant that comes 2 to 3 times a week and just do these exercises, right? So I thought it was super cool that profession, like, to be able to come in and help elderly people and older people who just either one had a bad accident or a injury, and maybe just got through a surgery and need to do that physical therapy. But even for people like my mom, who just didn't grow up or went through their life staying physical, being a physical person. She's just not a physical person. And then that catches up to you in your later years. And I saw how it brought her, like, it does bring her joy to be able to get out. Because even when they come to the house and do physical, like, if it's nice out, I asked the physical therapist, so like, yo, can y'all do physical therapy outside on the front porch, man? We got a nice front porch. It's covered, it's shaded, but the sun is shining. It's good, fresh air. You know what I mean? And so I have them, when it's a good day out, it's a nice day out, I have them do it outside on the porch. And it's just good for her to get outside, get some air, walk around, get some sun. And I just thought it was really dope. I'm the type of person that if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, as an artist and I chose another profession, I always said my profession has to be a profession of how can I say, of service. I will always have to do a profession of service. Something, I would probably be doing something in the medical field, or like a fireman, or maybe even a police officer, but like a good one. You know what I mean? I don't know about police officers. Like, I grew up weird. I had my homeboy used to try to get me to be a cop, and I wasn't feeling it, just because, my relationships with cops. But as I got older, like today's Brandon and mature mindset, yeah, I would do it because I know more now. So I always wanted to do something of service. So even in my artistry, I approach my artistry as a way of doing my art as a service. My job is to make you feel good, and even when I hit the stage, you know what I mean, and when I tell, and I'm motivating young dancers right before they go on the stage, like, we got a job, man. People came to see you do what you do. They paid money for a ticket to come see you do what you do. So it's my job and our job as artists to really give them a show. And my service is, I don't know where you came from. I don't know what your day was like today. You could have had the worst day. But the moment, for the time that I have you sitting in that seat watching me on this stage, I'm going to give you a show. And I'm going to make sure that at least for the moment I got your attention, you forgot about everything that went on that day. I want to make your day better just by me being on the stage. That's how appreciative I am that you bought a ticket to come see me. That's the mindset I approach the stage with. So when I'm on the stage, I'm giving you a show. And I'm taking your mind off of everything that happened earlier that day. And hopefully I get you to leave that show in a better mood and feeling better and feeling lighter. And maybe your day was good. Maybe you didn't have a bad day. And for the moment I have you sitting in that seat, I'm going to make sure it stays good. You could have had a good day and spent your money and went to a show and sat down and saw a shitty show. A horrible show. And it was like, man, my day was good until I sat down and watched that budget for no. So even if your day was good, I'm gonna make it even better for the moment that I have you. So even in my artistry, I approach my artistry with an act of service. So as this physical therapist comes and is working with my mom, I think of myself and I'm like, yo, if I was this, I would approach this so cool. Like, because when the physical therapists come, when they came and I was like home, I was able to be there while they were there. Like, yo, I'm setting the music in the background. I got music playing for her in the background. You know what I mean? I wanted to feel like she's actually like at the gym. You know what I mean? I bought her workout clothes. You know what I'm saying? So that she can put on her workout clothes, because that's how I want it to be. Like, I can't actually get you into the physical gym, but somehow or another, I want to try to bring the gym to you. Also, y'all, if my mama don't go to this, if a physical therapist don't come to the house, she ain't gonna do these. She ain't gonna do these exercises. Now that's between you and me. She ain't gonna do these exercises. So that's why I want her on just continuous physical therapy. Because if they're there, she'll do them. And we see results. And I think that that's just a dope service. So I talked to the guy and asked and inquired about his job. And he was telling me, like, yeah, man, we need more people doing this. It pays well. You pretty much set your own schedule, and it's in high demand. And think about all the elderly people, and not even elderly people. And I think of it as, I say elderly people because that's my situation, but it can just be people who are just unable, for whatever reason, are just unable to get up and go to physical therapy. So they have to do an in-home situation. And I just thought that was really dope. And as an artist, how I would approach that as an artist, like as a person who, and I'm gonna be honest with you, like I'm looking into it, trying to figure out how I can get my certification and just have that as a side gig for myself. I don't even need it, but I just think it's dope. But yeah, as like a dance teacher, how I would approach that in the house, and just being an artist, doing stand up and as an actor and dancer, how I would approach that particular job. And I think in how I could make it like fun and enjoyable, and you know what I mean? And I consider myself pretty much a charismatic guy. So, I'll be that one who, like, after I came to the house and did the sessions with you, like, I would want people to be like, yeah, I need physical therapy, and can Brandon J come? I liked how he did the physical therapy and engage with me and this and that. Or they could be like, I love how he engaged with my mom or dad, and you know what I mean? That was really cool. So because that's what we did. We went through one physical therapist, and then we re-upped. We did the re-up and did another one, and she liked the way this particular physical therapist did it, and I enjoyed them. So when we re-upped again, we're requesting that same one, right? So physical therapist assistant, young dancers. I say all of that to say, I try to give jobs, like people are always, when you're wanting to go to school for something in the arts, and people say you can't make any money doing that, get a gig that's gonna pay the bills, so you don't have to struggle, because anything dealing with the arts, people automatically think struggle. You're gonna struggle anyway, shape, form, or fashion as an adult. I don't want to go down a long rabbit hole with that. I'll do another segment on it. I probably did one already. But what I try to do is, instead of giving the problem or pointing out all the problems, let me give you a solution. That's the special sauce. The solution. So, young artists, another job that will allow you to be an artist and make some good money and be of service. Physical therapist assistant. More specifically, in-home physical therapist assistant. Just think about it, especially for young dancers. You bring your little sound. You have your little portable speaker. Get you a nice playlist together. Adjust it to whoever you're working with. Create some music in the background. Use dance as a part of the physical therapy in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Do the exercises, but then put a beat and a rhythm to the exercise so it makes it look and sound and feel like choreography. And then next thing you know, these people who could barely walk or get out of bed, by the end of their physical therapy session with you, they're dancing. Think about the smile you put on an old person's face, on an elderly person's face, or anybody's face who's not able to do a thing. That they couldn't walk before you got there. They was having trouble doing normal things, getting up and down out of a chair going to the bathroom, walking from one room to the other. But then after you came and worked with them and brought your artist poise and charisma to the job, they're now dancing and moving and feeling when they couldn't even walk, sit, or stand. And because of you, you were able to do that. So, in-home physical therapist assistant. Every week, I'll give you some special sauce on how to actually, how can I say, pursue your dreams and get to the bag. Because two things can exist. And there's levels to this there's levels to success, and there's levels to success as an artist. Two things can exist. So instead of hitting you with the problems, I'm going to hit you with the solutions. You dig? So I'm going to try out, and every week I'll drop a new profession that you should have just in your arsenal, in your bag. Go to school, physical therapist assistant, but I'm also a working, functioning artist as well, and student. So, and these are things when you're young, you know what I mean? Just to have in your arsenal, in your bag, you know what I mean? So, and I think it'll also help because, you know, I don't want to go down a long rabbit hole, but the people that do discourage us as artists are usually the people that's closest to us. It's usually the people that's closest to us and love us, but they just don't get us. They don't understand us. So I think this will help in every area of that. So that's the special sauce. Physical therapist assistant. Young dancers, look into that profession. I think it's dope. It's in high demand. You can be of service. You can bring your artistry to that service and to that profession. So it's worth looking into. There you go. What else do we have? As Joe Budden would say, what else is important and unimportant? Yo, I watch a lot of Joe Budden. Shout out to the Joe Budden podcast. If you guys don't tune in to the Joe Budden podcast, please do. It's fire. It's one of my favorite pastimes. What do we got? Talked about Miguel, Leon Thomas, Westside Gun, music. Versus, question of the day, special sauce. Yo, I think we did it. Hey everybody. I appreciate you guys tuning in to this episode of the Everyday Shuffle. I hope you enjoyed yourself, man. I hope you got something out of this episode that was helpful, encouraging, motivating, something positive, as I try to be all the time. And yo, this channel isn't like censored like that, to be honest. I say that to say because I was at the dance studio and one of the young dancers, young dancers, was telling me that her and the mom found the channel. And I don't want you guys to think that this is like a channel for children, although they're welcome, depending on how you. But I'm one way in the studio, like I have when I'm around young people. But this isn't like completely censored, parents. So just so you know, if your child is watching, they may come across a couple words that you probably don't let them hear. So just FYI, just want to keep it all the way 100 with you. But other than that, man, I hope you guys enjoyed yourself this evening, watching this episode. I appreciate you so much for tuning in. Please do hit those likes and subscribe buttons. Pass the channel on to someone you may know. Share it with somebody if you like what you heard today. As I said, hopefully, man, I said something today that helped you get through your day. Hopefully I said something today that inspired you, motivated you, encouraged you in some kind of way, shape, form, or fashion. That is always my mission. And if I was able to do that for you today, 1 time for me, 2 times for you. You dig? Till then, man, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace and love to you. Prayers, thoughts and prayers to everyone out there. Stay safe. It's Friday, so enjoy your weekend. Other than that, I see you guys on the next one. Peace.